Tuesday, March 19. Lord, who may abide in your tabernacle? Read Psalm 15. Who are the people worthy of worshipping in God's presence? Psalm 15, beginning at verse 1. Lord, who may abide in your tabernacle? Who may dwell in your holy hill? He who walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart, he who does not backbite with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbour, nor does he take up a reproach against his friend, in whose eyes a vile person is despised, but he honours those who fear the Lord. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, he who does not put out his money at usury, nor does he take a bribe against the innocent, he who does these things shall never be moved. The answer given in this psalm is the summary of the requirements already given in God's law and the prophets. The ones whose actions, that's works or righteousness, and character in his heart are a reflection of God. As we read in Deuteronomy 6 verse 5, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And Micah 6 verses 6 to 8. With what shall I come before the Lord, and bow myself before the high God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? The sanctuary was a holy place, and everything in it, including the priests, was consecrated. Thus, holiness is a mandatory requirement for entering the presence of God. Israel's holiness was to be comprehensive, uniting worship with ethics and exercised in all aspects of life. The law was given to God's people to enable them to fulfill their greatest potential, that is, live as a kingdom of priests. The royal priesthood includes a life of holiness in the presence of God and bringing the covenant blessings to other nations. Read Psalm 24, verses 3 to 6, and Psalm 101, verses 1 to 3. What does it mean to be holy? Psalm 24, beginning at verse 3. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully, he shall receive blessing from the Lord, and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face. Selah. And Psalm 101, beginning at verse 1. I will sing of mercy and justice to you, O Lord, I will sing praises. I will behave wisely in a perfect way. Oh, when will you come to me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set nothing wicked before my eyes. I hate the work of those who fall away. It shall not cling to me. A perfect heart is the worshipper's greatest quality before God. The Hebrew tamim, T-A-M-I-M, perfect, conveys the notion of completeness and wholeness. A perfect vine is whole, undamaged, and healthy, as we read in Ezekiel chapter 15, verse 5. Indeed, when it was whole, no object could be made from it. How much less will it be useful for any work when the fire has devoured it and it is burned? Animals offered as sacrifices had to be tamim, or without blemish, as we read in Leviticus 22, verses 1 to 4. And whoever offers a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord to fulfill his vow, or a freewill offering from the cattle or the sheep, it must be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no defect in it. Those that are blind or broken or maimed or have an ulcer or eczema or scabs, you shall not offer to the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar of the Lord. Either a bull or a lamb that has any lamb too long or too short you may offer as a freewill offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. You shall not offer to the Lord what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut, nor shall you make any offering of them in your land. Perfect speech is entirely truthful. We read in Job 36 and verse 4. For truly my words are not false. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. A perfect heart thus is a pure heart, as we read in Psalm 24 verse 4, He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully, or a heart of integrity, as we read in Psalm 15 verse 2, He who walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart. It seeks God, as we read in Psalm 24 verse 6, This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face, Selah, and is restored by God's forgiveness, as you read in Psalm 51, verses 2 to 10. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is always before me. Against you, you only have I sinned and done this evil in your sight, that you may be found just when you speak, and blameless when you judge. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin my mother conceived me. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you will make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me hear joy and gladness, that the bones you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. A blameless life springs from the acknowledgement of God's grace and his righteousness. Divine grace inspires and enables God's servants to live in the fear of the Lord, which means to live in unhindered fellowship with God and in submission to his word. A testimony of a devoted and pious life brings praise to God and not to one's own self. Notice that most requirements in Psalm 15 are given in negative terms, as we read in Psalm 15 verses 3 to 5, He who does not backbite with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbour, nor does he take up a reproach against his friend, in whose eyes a vile person is despised, but he honours those who fear the Lord. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, he who does not put out his money at usury, nor does he take a bribe against the innocent, he who does these things shall never be moved. This is not about earning God's favour, but about avoiding the things that would separate us from God. And so to finish today, how can we make conscious choices to avoid the things that push us away from God? What are some of those things, and how can we avoid doing them? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.